Do you remember back in 2019 where everybody was building a brand? Like, get out there, build your personal brand, you can do it. And somewhere along the lines, we started thinking that branding and marketing were one and the same. So, this week, let's talk about what's the difference between branding and marketing. Hey guys, my name is Anna Gogo, and I'm the founder, creative director here at Adode Media. And this week, I really want to kind of dive into understanding the differences between branding and marketing. And in the day of digital marketing and content and everything else in between, it can be really difficult to keep up with all of the nuances. And that's why we do what we do. So let's talk about branding and understanding what that is, what really goes into it, and what are the intersectionalities of the two. So, with branding, think about it as building the memorable moments. You are building a product, a service, a company. You're telling people this is who we are, this is what we believe in, this is what we stand for, this is our product and what we do. Think of branding as creating your niche, creating your little corner of the internet. And I always use the example of when you think of Nike. In the past, Nike did not just used to be the swoosh. In the past, they had to say that they were Nike until their brand was fully built through marketing. And then people were able to understand that, oh, when I see the swoosh, I automatically know that that is Nike. Same notion with McDonald's. When you see those golden arches, you immediately know that that is McDonald's. That is a part of their brand identity, their brand feel. And so they're creating a personality as well. So with branding, it's not just the look, it's also the feelings that you evoke. So let's talk through that. When you think of McDonald's, what goes through your mind? And hey, I don't want them to come for me, so I'm not going to say what goes through mine. But if you really stop and think about it, for each brand, there's a specific feeling that you feel around it. I'm going to utilize my favorite show, for example, Law and Order, Special Victims Unit. The day that they canceled that is the day that I'm probably going to fall apart. However, the thing I love about that show is the moment I hear the song for the intro and the dum dum, I immediately know that my show is about to start. I need to hurry up and grab whatever I need to grab and sit down. And guess what? That's the branding that's been done for that show. So that sound, the emotion it evokes, the excitement it creates in me, those are the feelings that that brand has developed through a reoccurring sound. Here's another example. For those who may listen or watch, I should say, Power, Power with 50 Cent. I don't know if you remember at one point, they tried to change the intro music of the show. And people were in an uproar because when you have developed an appropriate brand that evokes the right emotions that you want for your audience, they're going to tell you exactly what they like and don't like. And that's the power of branding. When you're developing those emotional connections for your audience, it sticks. Like if they ever change Law and Order Special Victims Unit's music, I would probably be out there picketing with a fence. Like, how dare you? Do I have other things I need to be doing? I do not care. I have loved this show for as long as I can think of. And that's what you want to keep in mind when you are developing your brand. You want to think through not just the visuals, because so many times we think it's, oh, I have a logo. I have my color palette and I'm good to go. When in actuality, it's the look, but it's also the feelings that it evokes. Is it trustworthy? Is it reliable? Do they feel like they could be friends with your brand? I'm going to even use us as an example with Adode Media. We have gone through 3 very distinct different looks and feels for this brand. And it took me a while to figure out how I wanted people to feel and how I wanted to make sure that my personality showed through while also still being professional. And I know that's something that a lot of creatives can sometimes struggle with, especially depending on what type of clientele you are trying to attract. For me, for example, I always knew that I wanted to attract corporate clients while also being able to appeal to people like myself who was an independent creator at one point. Well, that kind of sometimes leaves me in a conundrum because corporate clients, in my mind, want this look, whereas creatives want this look. And you see how it can kind of feel like, okay, how do I strike that balance between the two? That's where with your branding, you have to think of the emotions that colors evoke, as well as the design elements. So when you go to the Adode Media website, you'll notice that there's a lot of illustrations. And here's the thing for that. Illustrations are a way that allowed for me to still be professional by having cohesion, having investments, because brands like to see and companies like to see that you have actually taken the time to invest in creating dynamic and individual illustrations for your brand. It shows at a level of like, oh, wait, they're really serious about this. So it helps me achieve the corporate level. Whereas creatives, they love the illustrations because it pulls them in. And so that's understanding the difference in branding. And what branding really stands for is a distinction. And it's like, what is the mindset and the feelings and the look and the feel? Now let's talk about marketing. So earlier you heard me talk about how when Nike first started off, they were not just the swoosh. If you had just done a swoosh and nothing at Nike, nobody would have had a clue what that meant. But their marketing over time is how we now unequivocally, whenever we see a swoosh, we immediately think of Nike. I mean, even when we were kids, I would do the swoosh and then I would like fill it in. Is it really a swoosh and just a check mark? Probably. But at this point, it now belongs to them. And that's because their marketing is what has helped audiences know about their branding. See, that's the big difference between marketing and branding. Your brand is your look, your feel, it is your tone, the voice, it is the feelings that you evoke in your audience, it is your reputation. And that has a lot to do with it. Like, what do people say about your brand? Whereas your marketing is the amplification of what other people say about your brand. So, for example, when you put out your testimonials about your brand, you're telling your audience, you're sharing with people the testimonials. That is marketing the feelings that you are evoking through your brand. So, does that make sense? Like, it's breaking down, this is how we make people feel, which is associated with our brand, and we are marketing it by telling our audience about it. So, marketing is persuading, it is telling them about a product or service, but also kind of trying to sell to them. And I know in this day and age, we really do not like salesy pitches. And I think that's why more people have been moving towards I'm a brand, I'm branding myself, because nobody really wants to talk about the truth of the fact is marketing is sales. Without sales, without marketing, you really don't have a sales cycle. But marketing is what puts people into your sales cycle. So let's kind of talk about that. Marketing answers a question of who should purchase this product? Who is this product for? Who are these services for? That's what your marketing should be answering. It should be telling people, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. This is who we serve. This is how we serve them. And this is how we make them feel. So your marketing is communicating what your brand does and who your brand is and who that brand serves. Your branding should have already identified that as to what those feelings are. And it's completely fine for those things to change over time. Like who I was when I started this back in 2019 versus who I am as a brand and an individual and where I see my company going has definitely changed in 2024 and beyond. And that's the thing. Your branding and marketing should not be stagnant. They're not things that just you set it and forget it. And I think a lot of people look at their website, they look at their brand. I have a logo, I'm done. I have my brand messaging, I'm done. That's not accurate. You need to make sure that you're breaking down who do we serve and is that still the same? How do we expand? And what does that look like? Lastly, as it relates to marketing, is you want to you want to show people what the feelings are. And that's where some video components come into play. It's breaking down, okay, this is how we make people feel and this is how. And so those are where case studies come into play. And in your sales cycle or marketing cycle, your case studies are once again, this is what we do, our brand, this is how we do it, and this was the outcome of what we did. And so let's just quickly do a quick recap. Your branding is who you are, what you do, and the emotions that you evoke in your audience. Like, how do people feel when they think of Adode Media? What are your clients saying about you? Because it's not just what do you think about yourself, but it's also what does your reputation say about you? Whereas marketing is packaging all of those things and telling your audience about it. It's saying, hey, look at us. This is what we do. This is who we serve. And this is how we can help you. And so if you are in a space in your business or your brand where you're trying to figure out what your brand message is, what your branding should look like, or even how to get your marketing out there, clear because marketing has so many different components. It is email marketing, it is social media marketing. And in this day and age, we focus a lot on content marketing and we fail to realize there's SEO still, there's paid advertisements, there's so many other avenues that you should be focused on from a marketing perspective that can probably give you a better return than content or social media marketing can. So if you're ready to get some support with that, whether that's get a little bit of direction by creating a marketing blueprint that you then implement with your own internal team, or you would like to work with Adode for us to take on all of it from start to finish, go ahead and reach out to us at adodemedia.com. We support brands of all sizes with everything from podcast production, branding and design, as well as digital marketing. So if you know you are ready to enhance your look and feel or reach that new target audience, reach out to us today and we can't wait to work with you.